Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I can't stress that enough. I hope everyone's having a really good afternoon. On this grey, wet, cold Thursday afternoon, have I got a treat for you guys? Welcome to my channel, Joey Barnett TV, where every day I like to upload different content about my daily life. I like to upload different content about my previous life as a criminal. And the reason why I mention them stories of my previous life as a criminal is to deter anyone from following my footsteps, or to deter people away from committing crime or taking drugs, because it all leads to one thing. Actually, it leads to two things. It either leads to death or it leads to a very, very lengthy prison sentence. And that is the reason why I upload content onto my channel. For that reason only. It's all about awareness for me. And, you know, if I can help just one person out, that's my job done. It actually makes me sleep better at night. And yeah, that's what rocks my boat, helping other people nowadays, guys. So, you know, I turned all the negatives into positives, and that's the only way I can describe it. I do believe that your life is mapped out, and I'm a very superstitious guy, but I do believe that a leopard can change its spots. So that old myth about a leopard can't change its spots is a myth, because I am a prime example that we can change, and I have changed for the better. So guys, on we roll. As soon as we get to 2 minutes, I'm going to start unraveling this hard hitting, and I mean it is a hard hitting, exclusive, true story. And that's only, I can't really pronounce how other way I can put it. So let's get this party started, guys. And this afternoon, as I said to you, I've got a treat, and it's all about my mate, Mr. Fish. Crash, how's your father? So, how did I first meet Mr. Fish? Many moons ago in Wandsworth Jail. I think it was on A ring, it might have been C ring, but he had a very he had a presence about round him. He had a glow about round him. He was always laughing. He was always smiling, despite, you know, what pain he was going through or what regime we was in. He was always smiling, and he wasn't a bully. He was a diffuser. He was like the middleman, so people would mediate with him. You know, and he would diffuse the situation. He had that type of thing about round him, and I should think he still has today. So yeah, that's when I first met Mr. Fish. It was back in the early 80s, or sorry, late 80s, maybe very early 90s. And I see him a few times after that too. He's either in Chelmsford or in Ashford. Remand Centre. I think it was in Ashford. Yeah, it was Ashford. The one in Middlesex. I remember them youth custody days with the old dinner trays. We used to get it on the silver tray, and I've seen some severe injuries in that jail. I tell you now, people getting done in the side of the head, across the side of the head, within them silver trays, mate. After people were losing half the lumps of their head. Anyway, guys, we're 4 minutes in, and like, I do like to give my viewers a nice juicy bit of content. I don't like to upload content where it's a 2 minute wonder. 1 minute you're here, next minute you're gone. I like to give you a good bit of knowledge, and I like to share my experiences. So yeah, that's about Mr. Fish. We're talking about Mr. Fish when I first met him. Now, you know, I'm aware of Mr. Fish getting his IPP sentence, and I know everything about his backstory. I actually know everything about him because we're friends and we talk on a regular basis. Last time we see each other was actually last year in one of the parks. We were just going on to Lad Bible, and yeah, sat down and had a chat with him and that. But today I'm going to be talking about an incident which happened in my local snooker hall. So when I was a teenager, probably around 17 up to 20 probably, even younger than that, say 15 to 20. There is a snooker hall in Tooting, southwest London, and it's called Zans. It's very well known, and it's still going today, I believe. My friend, his dad owned it, and his name was Harry Griffiths. He comes from Tooting, and he was my mum's best friend growing up on Lessenham Avenue. So it goes way, way back. He had a boy called Johnny Griffiths, and there was another one called Steve Griffiths, and we all grew up together. So yeah, Griffiths had the snooker hall at the time. Well, this is going back in the early 80s, maybe not early 80s, my bad, sorry. This was going back about 85, maybe 87, maybe early 90s even, you know. I've got a bit of PTSD, guys, and I'm not really 100% on dates and years and things like that because I've had such a traumatic, crazy, mad life that I can't remember each day and each year. I'm just sorry about that, but I can't. But what I can remember is the stories, which stick out for me. And these are the stories what I'm telling you about. So don't quote me on years, guys. But yeah, we was all going into Zans, and it was our local stomping ground. Now, a few of my pals was serving up in there, and them days it was weed, and it was sold out of like newspaper or bookie slippings and things like that. And yeah, I remember the old sensimania and stuff like that. But I'm not going to glamorise drugs because of you know, drugs is a very, very bad thing to do. But I'm just telling you what happened. So you know, there's also a few older lads and freebasing had just come in at that time, crack. So they were selling crack out of there. Harry Griffiths tried his hardest to try and put to diffuse it and to try and stop the dealers from selling drugs in his place, because obviously he didn't want it. You know, he come from working class, Harry Griffiths, and although he knew all the boys, he didn't want them selling Class A drugs in there because that could have resulted in him losing his licence and losing the snooker hall. But there was not much he could do about it, to be totally honest with you, because the boys, what was going in there, were all from Tooting. I'm not going to mention I can't really go into names that in that detail, guys, because of I haven't got their permission. But whose permission I've got is Fish, because it's been confirmed that this story can be told, and this is why I'm telling you this story. So yeah, after, you know, a good few years of drugs being sold in Zans Snooker Hall, someone one Saturday evening, it might have been Sunday evening, I can't remember, as I said, I don't remember dates and times, but I know it was in the evening time, and the place was buzzing, the place was full of smoke, cannabis smoke. You know, people were sniffing coke off the tables and smoking pipes in the corner. And it was one of them places where the management just couldn't get a lid on it, and couldn't stem it neither. So all of a sudden, the doors now, you know, because we was all grown up together around Tooting, everyone knows everyone inside Zans Snooker Hall. So you know, as soon as someone walked through the door, if that person wasn't known by someone in there, you know, then there'd be like alarm bells ringing, and you know, this evening what I'm talking about, the doors come open, and Fish came calmly walking through the doors. Now, Fish came up to one of the main snooker tables. I think it was table 2 or maybe table 3, but it was in the middle of the aisle, and a little firm formed around him. Now, the firm what formed around him, you know, I can't really go into detail about their names, as I said to you, because, you know, I don't know if they're still active today. But let's just say that it was a naughty firm, and an argument broke out. Now, Fish started rowing with one of the main players in that snooker hall. All I can tell you his first name, and I'm not going to tell you his surname. He was a black guy. He comes from Tooting. He went to Ernest Bevin School. And his first name was Darren, so I can't go no further than that. But anyone who's anyone on my YouTube channel will know who I'm talking about. He was a very hard man. He carried something at all times. He dealt with things straight away, and he used to go through people's doors. He wasn't a bully or nothing like that. You know, he was a shotter, and if anyone owed him anything, you know, he'd go through your door, and that'd be it. You know, you'd be in bed early hours in the morning, and before you know it, you'd have a few black boys at the end of your bed, all tooled up, you know, throwing you into the back of a motor, taking you up the road, and holding on to you, you know, and giving you a few slaps until you could come out with the money, and until you could come up with the money. Darren was one of these type of a person. He was very naughty. Now, Fish calmly walked up to Darren, and an argument broke out, and I was actually in the background, so I couldn't hear the full scale argument. But what I could hear Fish say was, there's no more drugs to be sold in this place. And, you know, a big argument broke out, as I said, and it spilled out onto the streets. And Fish, you know, I must admit, at not 1 minute did he run off, did he walk off, or was he scared? You know, bearing in mind, there was probably around, I don't know, 10 black blokes, and Fish was all on his own. So yeah, Fish come in and literally turned the rules upside down, put a cat amongst the pigeons, and I believe that that spilled out onto right up to Tootingbeck train station, and tools got pulled out, and things started to get very, very, very serious and very naughty. And that's all I can tell you about that, guys. I can't really go into detail because I don't, you know, really want to mention the names, as I said to you. But this story has been confirmed by Fish, so this is why I'm telling you it. So, guys, you know, you can never, ever, ever judge a book by its cover. This is what I'm saying to you. I know Fish got his IPP sentence, and it was for, you know, allegedly. Well, it's not allegedly, because he actually got convicted of it, and he's told you on his channel that he was dressed up as Naomi Campbell, and you've got to laugh your head off, ain't you? You know, and that was his blag to get round the security in the council and cop the parcel. So yeah, you can never ever tell. And later on in life, what he'd done was the unspeakable. What, you know, no criminal from that type of lifestyle has ever done. Still up to today, what Fish done was the unthinkable. He went into his local pub, which was in Fulham, took the centre stage, you know, early hours in the morning or late at night, curtains closed, doors closed, and announced to everyone that he was gay. So, you know, this just goes to show you that you cannot judge a book by its cover. You cannot judge someone by their religion. You cannot judge someone by their race. You cannot judge someone by their gender, because, you know, there's some very, very naughty people out there, guys, and the ones you would least expect. But yeah, it's, you know, it's crazy, because now thinking about it, all these years later, it's probably 30 years later I'm talking about, when I you know, the story goes round in my mind. It's very, very fresh still that Fish actually had the bottle to come into our local snooker hall, into Zans, you know, and put it on the top player in there and have it out with the top player in there, knowing that, like, that top player Darren had a firm of boys behind him, and they was all tooled up too. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoy my content, and I hope you have a nice day. Peace.